guys, my name is Yanga Ndumndum and this is my channel where I curate content based on hair, lifestyle, and anything that I find interesting about my life, all for your pleasure. So if you're returning and you've been subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for coming and clicking onto this video. And if you're new, please don't click out without hitting that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by clicking the like button and telling me in the comment section down below. So before we drag the intro, as you can see from the title, today's video is all about learning the porosity of your hair. So if you want to know more about that, please continue watching. You normally hear that hair content creators will tell you to know your hair. And one of the properties that you need to know about your hair is your hair porosity. Now, a lot of people say that you need to test your porosity by taking a strand of your hair and dropping it into a glass, and then whether it remains at the bottom, the middle, or it floats up, that will tell you whether you have high, low, or medium porosity. Now, for me, that didn't really work. I can't remember what happened. I think when I did it, it just it didn't even go to the middle, but it didn't stay at the bottom. So I was like confused by what's going on, and I was just like, isn't there another way that I can find out about my hair porosity? So obviously I did some research and I thought I should also share with you guys in case you've tried it and it didn't work. Okay, so I'm first gonna start off with characteristics of low porosity hair. So things that happen to your hair that help you determine what porosity you have. For low porosity hair, the first thing that you need to recognize is how quickly your hair dries. So if you've just gotten out of the shower, or you've just washed your hair and your hair takes quite a long time to dry, just know that you've got low porosity hair, because your hair, the water isn't, it means that the water is just sitting on the surface of your hair. It's not really penetrating your hair strands, and that indicates that you've got low hair porosity. Another characteristic is if you apply product onto your hair but then it still sits on the surface of your hair. Same reason that your hair doesn't dry quickly. It just means that the product isn't fully penetrating your hair strands and it just sits at the top. That's also how you know that you've got low hair porosity. Lastly, if let's say your hair's still wet and you do like 2-strand twists or 3-strand twists, but your hair still takes long to dry, like it takes the entire day to dry, just know that you've got low hair porosity. So from all of that, you can understand that low porosity hair is just your hair cuticle that's like just shut, and it's tight. Your hair cuticle is like this, so it's not open enough, like it doesn't give products and water enough access to enter the hair cuticle. And so yeah, that's why it really happens. But the moment you discover tips and tricks, which I will give you towards the end of the video, how to treat low porosity hair, the moment you eventually have moisture in your hair, you don't need to worry. That moisture can still be retained. So if you want to find out how to take care of a low porosity hair, just stick around till the end. I'm gonna move on to high porosity hair characteristics. So the first one is that your hair may tend to look dry and tangle easily. Now that is me. Like, I'm looking at my hair right now and I feel like it looks a bit dry, and my hair definitely tangles easily. And this is because, remember, high porosity, quick to dry, like the water goes in, it goes straight in, like your hair cuticle basically swallows that water, and your hair just looks dry and like it tangles easily. So that's the first characteristic, your hair looking dry and tangling easily. You easily know that you've got high porosity hair. Another thing is obviously your hair drying really fast. So that is me. For a long time, I was confused about the porosity of my hair. At first, I thought I've got low porosity hair because I would see like water beads, like those. By water beads, I mean like water bubbles basically on the surface of my hair. And then the more I took care of my hair, like my hair just sort of changed. I don't know if this is possible, but I honestly feel like my porosity changed. So my hair definitely dries really quickly. By the time I'm out of the shower and I'm ready to do the lock method, I need to spray my hair again because it's already dry. And also this depends, it's worse in summer, so it also depends on the season of the year. So in winter it dries a little bit slower, but generally speaking, my hair dries quickly. So that's another way you can know that you've got high porosity hair. If your hair just dries quick, even when you do the 2-strand twists, it dries, it's dry. That's how you know you've got high porosity hair, sweetie. The last thing is if your hair doesn't retain moisture very quickly. So let's say today you do the lock method, and then in 2 days time your hair looks dry, like you didn't do anything at all. That's how you know you've got high porosity hair. So you normally have to do like the lock method like twice a week or whatever the case, because your hair is not retaining enough. It's just swallowing all of that, like devouring all the moisture. So the reason why this happens is because with high hair porosity, your cuticles are like this, like they're open, so they just take everything very easily, but at the same time they lose everything very easily. So that's why your hair gets dry so much quicker. If you don't resonate with any of these characteristics, don't worry. You might have normal porosity hair, and these are the characteristics of that. The first one, your hair easily absorbs moisture and it retains it. So your hair takes in moisture very easily and it keeps moisture very easily. So now I stress him, that's the kind of lock method Monday, next Monday your hair is still moisturized. Okay, not really next Monday. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have any worries. Like, I'm not stressed about hair moisture. That's just fine for you. Once you do the lock method, you are sorted for a couple of days. Like, that's you. Let me know in the comment section how it feels to be God's favorite child. If you've got normal hair porosity, just consider yourself blessed and highly favored. Second characteristic of normal hair porosity is if your hairstyle holds well, like with moisture, the volume is looking great. Like if you've got a hairstyle, like for example this high puff, if you know it looks moisturized, the volume is great, and the shine, like you've got luster, you are sorted for life, baby. Your hair is normal porosity. I'll now stress. Pull it up. And then lastly, if your hair is got like elasticity and bounce. Now I know that you can have normal porosity hair or high porosity hair or low porosity hair with this certain characteristic, as long as you're taking care of your hair. But because I feel like bounce and like elasticity comes with well moisturized hair. So if you've got low porosity or high porosity hair, you can still have bounce and, you know, elasticity to your hair. But you need to do a lot more work than a person that has normal porosity hair. So yeah, and obviously without even explaining, we all know that this means if you've got normal porosity hair, it just means your cuticles are just opened wide enough, not too wide, not too narrow, and that just helps absorb enough moisture and keep enough moisture inside. Okay, so yeah, like just be grateful. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the tips and tricks of how to treat your hair with different porosities, or not necessarily treat, but like just maintain your hair with different hair porosity. We're gonna start with low porosity hair, like what to do when you've got low porosity hair. Right, are you still listening, class? Okay, so the first tip I have for all my sisters out there that have got, and brothers that have got low porosity hair, is to deep condition once a week. This helps because heat is able to lift up your hair cuticle. So the main objective here is to have heat on your hair cuticle so that they can be opened up a little bit so moisture can go inside. Tip number 2 is to use hair butters. Now you need to understand that you need sort of heavy hair butters that will really, you know, have some weight on your hair cuticle so that they can push them open and then go in. So you need really heavy, not really heavy butters, but you need thick butters, like intensively moisturizing butters. And then you also need to use oils, but not too much oils, just enough oils. Okay, thirdly, as a person with low porosity hair, because majority of the product will stay on the surface of your hair, you need to clarify your hair very often. So you also need to be careful that you don't use like shampoos and clarifying methods that strip your hair of their moisture, but you need to clarify it. And normally clay masks and clay treatments normally help. So you can either do the bentonite clay mask, which I have a video that I might link right here on how to do that, or you can use Wrestle clay from, I think, Carol's Daughter. Yeah, I once used that. You can use the clay mask, Wrestle clay mask from Carol's Daughter, or anything that's just a clay that will help you clarify your hair without stripping it of moisture. You can also do the apple cider vinegar rinse, which there's a lot of videos about it. So yeah, that's tip number 2. The third tip for all my low porosity brothers and sisters out there, you need to avoid protein, like protein overload. So you can do the protein treatment every 2 to 3 months, but when you are using like your hair butters and all these other things, like on your regular weekly wash days, just be sure not to use products that are high on protein. And then lastly, after you do the lock method, just try and trap in some heat for longer, so you can still use your heat cap that you used when you were deep conditioning, or you can just, like, I don't know, if you have access, you're able to steam your hair after the lock method, you can do that, just as long as there's heat, once again, to make sure that liquid, that oil and that cream is stuck in there. Yeah, that's it for all the low hair porosity people out there. So now we're going to move on to the high hair porosity peeps. So the first thing that you want to do, obviously, is to make sure that you use heavy butters. You use heavy butters, or you use heavy sealants. So whether you're using butter to seal, oil to seal, or like creams to seal, make sure they are heavy, and they will make sure that that product or that moisture is sealed in so it doesn't escape. Because remember, with high porosity hair, easy come, easy go. So you want to make sure that it's staying there. So that's the first thing. Second tip is to incorporate aloe vera juice into your water, especially in winter. And that's exactly what I've been doing, thanks to K Mongo, who plugged me. If you don't follow her on Instagram and YouTube, make sure you check her out. I'm probably gonna link her stuff in my bio, in the description, yes. But she put us on how to incorporate aloe juice onto our hair, and it's amazing for moisture. So that's the number 1 tip. So if for your lock method you use water, just make sure you put yourself onto that aloe vera juice. It works chef's kiss for your hair and its moisture. So do that. Okay, number 3 is to, if you've got high porosity hair, once you are done with your lock method, make sure that you do protective hairstyles like twists, or like 3-strand twists, or like some people can do flat twists, just to make sure that you're locking in the moisture, because that's another form, protective hairstyles are another form of making sure that moisture is locked in. So please make sure that you do that all the time. You don't need to do this every night, but just that on that one specific day after you've done your lock method, make sure you put it in twists so that moisture stays in there and it doesn't escape as easily as it went in. Okay, how you get it is how you lose it, sister. And then lastly, make sure that you incorporate protein treatments and also deep conditioning treatments in your wash day routine. As you would have seen in my wash day routine, that's exactly what I do. And remember, a protein treatment is not for all the time, it's only for like every 2 months, every 3 months. Basically how you take care of high porosity hair. Any questions, any further questions, please make sure that you leave them in the comment section below. Ooh, another tip for high porosity hair is don't use shampoos all the time. Use the apple cider vinegar rinse method to clarify your hair. Now, you know that I do this all the time. I've done it about probably twice on my channel. So if you want to see how that is done, make sure you check out my hair videos on my channel. And yeah, you will be fine. If you do that, girl, those are my rats. You'll be sorted for life. You'll be sorted for real. And don't be surprised when your hair porosity changes over time based on how often and how well you take care of your hair. It happens. I think it's happened to me because I really remember my hair being low porosity last year, but now my hair cuticle is opening up a bit. Before, like, if you've got normal porosity hair, you literally have nothing to worry about. You need this much maintenance. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you hit the like button. And I'm sorry for like disappearing and then coming back like nothing happened and not explaining. I'm sorry. I will have like a life update video for you guys, but for now, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Please share this video like on Twitter, share it on your stories and tag me, share it on your WhatsApp statuses. Just put a lot of people on, because I know there's a lot of us that just don't know how to find or how to identify our hair porosity. And so if you found this video helpful, please make sure that you plug others onto it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you have not, and leave a heart or something, leave something in the comment section, and I will see you guys in my next video, hopefully very soon.